Whoever that was.
Nikki.
No? Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McGuinness, that this meeting be open at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Next, I have adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 8th day of April 2025 be adopted as amended, presented. Carried. What was the amendment?
There was no amendment. I think
Oh.
it's just a typo.
I'll just take that word out.
Mhm.
There. All in favor? Carried. Got all the words out. Next, we have adoption of the previous minutes. First, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? No. Adoption of previous minutes. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark, that the minutes of the regular council meeting on March 25th, 2025 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Today, we have a presentation from Norm Shepherd on the community garden.
All right, so as we're speaking, like I was trying to help with the Bonville garden, but Nikki recommended that I actually do the Rutherglen garden, bring it back up to speed, do something with it, bring all the communities back together. I did put a proposal in for it as well too. As you can see that I did get a quote from what it would cost for fencing as well too. I propose to reestablish the Rutherglen Community Garden to engage individuals and families in cultivating their own fresh produce. We aim to empower them to meet their own dietary needs, enhance their food security, and foster a sense of community collaboration. Our objectives are simple: enhance food security, establish community gardens to increase the availability of fresh nutrients, produce, and reduce dependency on external food sources. Foster community engagement, creating a sense of belonging, social coherence, and collaboration by involving community members in the garden planning, implementing and maintenance. I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak. Can I just speak from my heart?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
please.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather
yeah.
not. You guys already read this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great, like to reestablish this. It's great to show Rutherglen you're part of Bonfire as well too. And then to give them that sense of security as well too. I have no problems like putting up, I feel the fence is a good idea because it is in a rural area. So by putting up the fence in a rural, like in that rural area, it will actually be deterred from animals as well too. I did look on Amazon, and I will pay for it myself. It's $50 just for like an ultrasound sensor that you put in each corner, and then anything comes forward to that, it will send it off. So dogs, cats, deers, rabbits, everything will do it as well too. So I'm trying to set this up, but I'm trying to set the garden up appropriately. That I do understand there was issues. Like I was told there's issues with the Rutherglen garden prior to that. And what I'm trying to do is like make sure that this is going to be so low maintenance for everybody, and it's so perfect that you just walk in. I can like I proposed for 2 gates, one on one side, one on the other. They can enter and exit. And then I would like to do boxes as well too. So because by doing boxes and nobody's just going to walk through the garden themselves and destroy everything. And it would make it a lot easier by filling those boxes, and for weeding purposes, it'd make it a lot simpler. I'm also trying to figure out from Ontario Hydro, when they do like their chippings, I can collect their chippings for free, bring them out there and put down their chippings as well too, which is gonna really help keep the weeds down. So that's like, I'm trying to bring this back up to really great. So that's my sole purpose on this, so.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Any comment?
Oh, this is a great idea. Thank you. You know, the more gardens, the better. I think it's an excellent idea. So those sonar things, will you still need the fence if you've got those or?
So yes, the fence will still need to be actually up, because if those two units don't work, then animals just come in and bombard as well too.
So there's
Because
not
they are
a fence
solar.
on the one that's in,
Yeah,
one
the
that's-
the one in Bonneville also has houses surrounded. The one in Rutherglen, when I went to
Maybe.
look at it, there's no houses near there, so there's
it's remote,
nothing
it's
that
remote.
deters, there's no noise, there's nothing that deters them from
Yeah.
that.
I
So,
think the issue might be the budget. So there's is the only thing for me. I think last year we spent $400. That's kind of our and you know, I will say that it's Dan and Mel McGinnis that spent most of the time on this garden and donated their time and their
yes, and
their
I'm,
things. And it was Larry Kunkel who, with his own resources and time, built the vegetable box.
yes, and I understand it, but you gotta also realize this is my own time that's gonna be putting up the fence, putting the boxes, organizing everything.
Right, so
Taking
it
care of
is,
it, looking
it's
for
Dan's
baseball
own
too.
time too, sorry, like, so it is a community garden, and I see that you've actually done some great work in like rallying the troops, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, so if,
But your community garden in Bonneville is inside Bonneville. We have many houses surrounding the community garden. Whereas in Rutherglen, when I took a look at it, it's in the middle of nowhere where there's no protection to the garden. So there's no houses, no noise. There's nothing to deter wildlife from coming in. Whereas in Bonneville, there's lots of houses that deter them from actually coming into the garden. That's the only reason. The fence is just a deterrence. It's not. It's. I don't want to cost any more
Oh, no, no.
money for the town.
what
But
about
we do need,
sponsors
we do
maybe?
need a little bit of a deterrence,
Yeah.
and like even those sensors are all solar, so if they do go down, there's still that 4-foot fence that will protect it. Because even if, like, when you plant your own garden, when you have beans, peas, and stuff like that, rabbits come in and they can devour them in one night. Pretty simple, but when we have the fence, it will deter the rabbits from coming out with the sensors, and the sensors don't, like, I'll pay the sensor myself, the sensors don't back it up. And like if the sensors don't do the job, the fence will back up and the rabbits can't get through. So then we'll realize in a couple of days that sensors aren't working, the fence backs it up, we didn't lose all the vegetation in the garden.
Or did you have your hand up, Sue? I don't, I jump in.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the one here being 400, true, but I mean, it was a ton of volunteers and a ton of donations and, you know, Dan's looked at sponsorships and donations and partnerships and things like that. So I think that's kind of the route that we need to go to make this more feasible. I mean, there might be a good contact to have. Cassandra working for the township is also a good contact. She's already kind of doing some stuff for the garden here.
Yeah, you can reach out to Eagle Tree Service. That's where we got wood chips last year.
I can reach out to NICE as well too, see if they can help with some of this as well too. And see what we can do and reach like a better half of, better half of this and try to. I don't want it to cost the town money, because I do understand, like, there's no gardener right now and we don't know how it's gonna work out in the future, but again, it's the iconic saying, if you build it, they will come. I would like to try to go with that, build it, get there and have them come. It'll take a little bit of time, but if we put ourselves out there and show them that we are here and we're there, then they will support us as well too, and they'll be part of that and do exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doubting the validity of it. It'll work for sure. We just gotta get it to the point where it's feasible.
Thank you, first of all, for stepping up and offering to do the garden in Rutherglen. That's awesome. I think it's fantastic that our community will once again have 2 community gardens. I don't quite recall what our budget is for what I want to make sure is that it's equitable. Whatever budget we put into the bond field, we also want to, Rutherglen to have that same level. That would be the only appropriate way to do this. So
Like Rutherglen doesn't need the exact same budget that Bonfield does, because Bonfield's a lot bigger.
sure.
So we can work with it, and I can source out like other sources as well too, to try to get funding to get this done. To just try to prove to Rutherglen, because Rutherglen is part of Bonfield, they do pay the taxes as well too.
Yeah.
And I want to show them that they are part of the Bonfield Township.
Yeah, I
too,
think it's
give them the same
fantastic.
respect, so that's. what I'm
Yeah,
trying to do.
and quite frankly, I, Jason Corbett, citizen of Bonfield, absolutely nothing to do with my council hat, would be more than happy to help. As I would help Dan and Mel in Bonfield, I'll come and help what I can in the garden. I think it's a great initiative for our community, so I want to make sure that we're setting it up for as much success as possible. I think, from a budgetary perspective, from mine, I think, it might not be the full-on fence first year. It might be, okay, how do let's itch it out, like, what can we do for the first year in a budget? So, I want to make sure that we're supporting the garden to an extent that is
Yeah,
equitable
but
for
if we
sure.
don't set ourselves properly out the first year, if we set ourselves up for a downfall the first year, that will be another downfall for the next year. So if we don't do it properly the first year, then residents will be like, why am I doing this? It's like, exactly, it's like where the animals come in, just eat all the vegetation, people are just gonna discourage, and it's not gonna be productive.
For
and
sure.
They will not wanna prosper the
Yeah.
second year.
I think that's honestly where, like, the spirit of a community garden is the community rallying around, including sponsorships. And my hope would be that we wouldn't have to look to taxpayers to fund the majority of this, that we would be able to actually secure sponsors. I don't know if Dan and Mel had sponsors in Bonfield or not, but you're
No, I mean, whatever the township didn't pick up, we did.
personally.
Yeah.
What's Bonfield proposing for the garden?
What did we
on-
give last year?
On Bond?
400
Garden
was
Bonfield this year.
400, but I think,
Like I'm
because
talking about this year.
Bonfield is established, I think, and I could be wrong, we'd have to do the numbers, but the majority of the money can go to Rutherglen of the budget.
Yeah.
Right, because you're just starting, and I mean, this is only the
We're still gonna
second
need-
year.
Yeah, but. we're
You're-
still
you're gonna need
soil
some
and
money.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
our budget's 400 last year and it was proposed 400 again this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but so you guys have proposed part of this year as well too. Okay, yeah, Nick, you did tell me that.
And I mean, like I said,
I'm
if
trying
you
to
take,
work with this, I'm trying to set it up as best as possible, so it's not gonna get destroyed, because there's no point putting a garden when it's gonna get destroyed.
I mean, we have a ton of deer here in Bonfield.
Oh, yeah.
We got hammered. I mean, it's just part of gardening.
Yeah, but if you look at the proposed lot that's sitting in Rutherglen, it's by the church there, and there's no houses.
I will
there,
tell
there's
you,
nothing.
I will guarantee you that there's just as many deer right here in town than there is. out in
Yeah,
the
I walk,
country.
yeah, I mean, I'm not that we need to debate how deer, but I mean, I walk the road every night with my dog and there's always deer right by the school, right up there. I walk past bears
And-
sometimes, I walk past.
Anyway, that said, if you can't get the boxes or whatever, I mean, I will donate my time to come down with my tractor, plow it and till the land.
Yeah.
um,
My
Well,
biggest concern
to
is
get you
just
going.
putting it in, having it just chewed apart by animals, so that's my biggest concern that I have. And I don't want to go in a defeat before starting. I wanna put it in, it's like, we're gonna put it in a garden that's actually not gonna get chewed apart. It is not around any houses, it's in a rural area, and it's difficult to deal with that, so. That's my proposal that stands, you guys have time to think about it and let me know what you choose to do with that situation, so.
Have you, sorry, can I just,
Sorry,
want-
go ahead,
yeah. Have you approached any community sponsors up to this point?
I will approach I'll approach the Knights after this. I believe they have their meeting next week
Sure,
that I'm invited to, so I'll
Yeah.
approach the Knights as well too,
yeah.
and see if we can get funding.
And I don't know if you had an opportunity to go to the trade show that was around this weekend. There's a number of community
No, I
businesses
didn't.
around, so.
I ended up going to.
Yeah, no, I meant that as like maybe a target rich environment. If those are businesses in and around Bonfield, that maybe they would be interested in sponsoring as well.
Yeah.
I'm getting in your business model now and I don't need
Yeah.
to do that, but I'm like,
I'll
yeah, I'm just
I'll
throwing that out there, yeah,
Like, I'll sponsor myself as well too.
for sure.
And help
Yeah.
out as much as I can, so. I'm just looking for the town to actually help sponsors.
Yeah, and I think we will. I think we'll try and figure out how to do it equitably for both, for sure.
I'm sure that once you get the garden started, people are willing to bring in plants and that to help.
Yeah.
And I'm just offering this as a suggestion, and I don't know if Elmer would like that, but he, he got, he got the fencing free for the cemetery. And I don't know how he got that, but maybe he might give you a little hint where he went and,
I'm done with
and-
that. I already like pre-assumptionally started a bunch of tomato plants and plants for the garden as well too, for the community, so.
It's awesome.
Yeah, if we get people who just volunteer, like they got used material that we can use, I'm definitely down with that. I'll put up whatever we got just to safeguard the garden, that's it. I don't wanna spend a lot of my time and efforts putting something nice and beautiful and then having wildlife come in and destroy it.
yeah,
That's my biggest concern, and I looked at about where it was, which is by the Anglican church there. And it's like, it's right out in the open, there's no houses, no nothing, which means wildlife is just gonna wreck it.
and I can appreciate that because one summer I had these plants and I watered them all summer, going in and out of the church and got water, and I kept watering them and they kept getting bigger and more beautiful, and the big red flowers were on them. One morning I went and there was, there was
Well,
no flower
with,
left.
my garden too.
I got them too beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't wanna put all my hopes and effort into this and then come back a couple of days. And it's like, it's getting chewed apart. A couple more days, it's getting chewed apart. A couple more days, it's chewed apart. Then there's no garden left. So then what's the point? You know? I wanna make sure
I
it's
think
secure.
if you get the people out there interested in it as well, they're gonna keep an eye on thing. And you're
that's what
going
I'm
to be
trying
able to
do,
have a
but
garden there.
Unfortunately, when I look at it's like in the area where the garden is, like it's at night, that's when the animals come out and eat. And it's like, unless there's a house next door or people next door, it's hard to control that right now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really remote.
Trying to think
So
of
it makes it
more.
difficult, but anyways, that's my proposal. You guys can let me know what you want to do. If we can find used fencing to do this job, anything we can do to make this work, that I'd be okay with that. Because I want to revive everything. I want to make Bondfield all one. I want to bring Brother Glen into Bondfield. Want them to feel like they're part of us as well too. Establish a whole trusting community, you know?
Okay, and so at this point, we leave it with Nikki to tell us what the budget could be. Okay, and I see his prices are only to April 30th.
That's
So-
on the estimates that I was given from the suppliers. So we can always get another estimate, but I'm gonna try to keep this, like, I'm keeping it cheap as possible. Like I told you, Nikki, as well too. Like if I would install that fence, I would charge $650 to install that fence. It's gonna go in for free. I'm gonna do everything as free as possible. Mulch, bringing it for free. Do everything as cheap as possible in town. I'm just here to try to help out the community, that's all.
I think it's great. If
Yeah,
I
it's
can,
great.
and I do know that the budget, the rec committee met last night, so I had a chance to go through, their budget. So the entire, for all of the planting of all of the flowers that we do in, like, here and in the gardens and stuff, as well as in the Bondfield garden, last year, the total was spent was $790. On the actual garden was about 250. So the budget is about 400, so that's, but they only spent 200 last year, so
Well, I'll
that
leave you-
is the budget.
I'll
for
leave you
the
guys to
garden.
discuss it. This, like I told you too, Nikki, this is a growing pain.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the first year's gonna hurt. And then after that, there should be a zero budget on any of it. So, and I guarantee you, I'll maintenance that garden for the next 5 years. I have no problems with that. So make sure that keeps going. It's weeded. It's probably maintained. I'm gonna make it so easy, so simple, so we don't have weeds, we don't have those issues.
That's
And
awesome.
take care of it. So,
Yeah.
Thanks again for
It is
stepping
awesome.
up. Appreciate it.
all right, thanks, guys.
So do you think that we should do a motion that says that we are interested in the garden and to proceed based on the budget that we have?
For sure, unless we want to have more conversation about.
Right. I think the problem is the rec budget is already severely small. We run a ton of programs with very limited budget. We've already gone over our budget. We already have programs in place. We already have one garden we're looking after, and now we're trying to open up a second garden with zero notice and zero budget concerns, right? Like it's so last minute, if there's no money in it for it, unless we're taking it from something else. So that's why I kept saying we need to look at community sponsors and
Well,
donations and things like that. Or you gotta look at the rec budget and cancel something.
Hmm. Okay. Everybody here is interested, but we don't have the money.
That's the quintessential problem with the municipality. Yeah. We want to do everything with no money.
Like I said, my next appointment with the Knights, I'll talk to the Knights and see if they'll help out with this as well too, get some funding. And I'll put in a little bit of funding as well too, to get this going. And then the biggest thing is literally just putting a fence and that's the biggest cost.
And I think it's such a small amount and a small ask that if you're passionate about it, you'll find the donors.
Yeah, I think.
People will help.
Especially if you just print a sign to put on the, on the fence, they'll get advertising out of it. I think that'd
Well,
be,
that's why that's what I'm coming to the council and asking the council for some funding.
yeah,
I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm.
Yeah, it's awesome. For sure. And
And then tell me, it's like, if you're passionate about it, you'll find funding.
well, I mean, I would hope, I would like to think that the first way, instead of it being taxpayers first, is let's see if the community, if there's businesses that'll step up and help sponsor. Because again, it's a great advertising opportunity for them if they wanted to put a sign on the fence or anything like that. So if we could exhaust that option first, I think that would be the avenue to go first, and then let's have that. Let's see where we get to on that, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
You had something?
If I may, actually, Public Works Manager wrote me a note to say that we do have a snow fence. So it's not, it's not pretty, it's not nice. But if the donation is exhausted and nothing can happen,
Then put a
Public
fence
Works does have a snow fence that you can use
We
for
always,
first
yeah,
year.
we've always got some spare stuff.
up. Yeah, we'll work something out. It's just to safeguard the garden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
even
but
if we have to slap T-bar with some snow fence,
It'll get you
that's
through
what
year
we'll do
one.
for
right?
now.
So,
Just carry it on for now. So.
Yeah, even if that's a
Just
year
wanted
one
to
plan,
let
for
you-
sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess the important thing is that council agrees to, for you to put a garden in there. That's number one. And then we can look, everybody can look at funding,
Mhm.
see if we can get somebody to sponsor it. And would that be positive right now? Give you something positive to work with?
I'll work with it. Nikki, if you can give me a land plot and where to put the garden as well too. Because I'm not sure exactly where, because you had a gardener prior. I'm not sure where it was part of that.
That garden that was prior there was just 4 little boxes down by the road. It wasn't a garden. It was just 4 little
Oh, okay.
boxes. I mean, I think there's a good plot of land up by the baseball diamond.
Yeah, I
We'd have
wouldn't
to
look at
look to
that.
see
Because
where-
you get the baseball diamond and the baseball diamond is pretty decrepit. And there's a further back land you can use past baseball diamond as well too.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I haven't
there's
been up there in a
options.
while, but like I said, yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's why we kind of relayed that, yeah, it'd be nice to get the garden going in Rutherglen. So, you
Well,
know,
Nikki, you can get back to me with a plot of land and what I can use, what I can work with. And
Amazing.
then I can go through details and try to get funding like elsewhere as well too, and try to see if I can set up.
It's great.
And then if I can get old fencing to just try to safeguard it, and I'll do so. I'll exhaust all my options before. If the town doesn't have the money to fund it, I'll try everything else I can do to get everything going.
Okay, do you want to connect after the meeting next week that you have with
Yeah.
Columbus? Okay,
Okay.
call me the next day, yeah.
Okay,
good.
thank you, Norman. No question period. Staff reports, that's from Alex. Please.
just a recycling update for the landfill. I'm sure everybody's noticed, we've lost our bins from Miller. We've now got bins from GFL, with this new provincially mandated program. So I just wanted to do a bit of background on that and how that's gonna work out. So Ontario has undertaken a significant shift in its approach to waste management by transitioning to a full producer responsibility model. Under this framework, producers are now accountable for the collection, recycling, and management of waste associated with their products. The MIV is a crucial part of Ontario's strategy to create a more sustainable circular economy. This report will analyze some of the implementations of the full producer responsibility. So what is full producer responsibility? Full producer responsibility refers to a policy where producers, manufacturers, importers, and brand owners are fully responsible for the entire life cycle of the products they introduce into the market. This includes the collection, transportation, recycling, and disposal of the products after their useful life. Ontario's implementation of the FPR impacts several key sectors such as packaging, paper products, electronics, tires, and more. So some of the key features for the full producer responsibility model, they're transitioning from municipal to producer managed systems. So historically, municipalities were responsible for the collection and processing of recyclables, often funded through provincial subsidies. With FPR, producers will assume the financial and operational responsibilities for these services, reducing the burden on municipalities and taxpayers. This is also not likely to be at 100%. Extent producer responsibility programs, performance targets, and reporting and compliance. Some of the benefits of the full producer responsibility, environmental benefits would be waste reduction, increased recycling rates, and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Some challenges of the full producer responsibilities, operational challenges are the complexity and coordination. So as we've experienced along with many other municipalities, the shift from the municipal to producer managed systems lead to coordination challenges amongst the stakeholders, producers, waste management companies, as well as the municipalities. Higher financial burden on the smaller producers. Small businesses may face challenges in meeting the financial and operational requirements of the FPR. Consumer participation, education, and engagement. So for this model to be successful, consumers must be adequately educated about the new recycling systems and their role within it. If consumers do not actively participate, the system will not achieve its intended goals. Monitoring and enforcement, compliance issues, ensuring producers meet their obligations can be difficult, requiring robust enforcement mechanisms. Some producers may seek loopholes. And then opportunities for improvement. We've got product design and innovation and partnerships between the stakeholders. So a recommendation for moving forward is increase consumer education, support the small businesses, monitor and improve performance metrics, invest in advanced recycling technologies. And by addressing all these areas, it will ensure the continued success of full producer responsibility in its recycling system, advancing environmental sustainability across the province. So I guess the big question would be, what can Bonfield expect to see? So currently, township staff are working with the new contractor, GFL or Green for Life, to help provide a smooth transition for residents. The Township of Bonfield has been working with Circular Materials regarding the contracted services, which took effect on April 1st, 2025. The new contractor, GFL, has been appointed this contract through the provincial government to ensure continuity and minimal disruption for residents. So currently, the township has 2 roll-off bins at the landfill site for recycling disposal, with a possibility of a 3rd bin to be dropped as soon as it becomes available. Unlike before, all recycling materials can be deposited now in the same bin. So plastic cans, glass, paper, and cardboard products do not have to be separated any longer. This might frustrate many. It's what the province has set out, and we as the township have absolutely no control over this. The township will continue to provide bins for residents to dispose of their electronic waste, as well as scrap metal at the landfill site. Just a little update on that. Had a meeting with GFL earlier this week. They're hoping to bring in a 3rd bin for this weekend and another 20-yard roll-off bin as overflow. They didn't realize we got as much recycling as we did.
How did it? It's not like we didn't tell you. Yeah. Jeez Louise.
So in conclusion, the province of Ontario is transitioning its Blue Box recycling program to this producer responsibility model, aiming to make producers fully accountable for the collection and recycling of their products and packaging. This shift, mandated by the Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act 2016, began on July 1st, 2023, with full implementation expected by 2026. Under this new framework, producers are responsible for establishing and funding recycling services across Ontario, including small communities. They can either provide these services directly or collaborate with municipalities through negotiated agreements. This transition aims to standardize recycling services province-wide, ensuring that all communities, regardless of the size, have access to consistent and efficient recycling programs. Producers are incentivized to design products and packaging with end-of-life management in mind, promoting environmental sustainability. For small communities in Ontario, like the Township of Bonfield, this means that recycling services will continue, potentially with enhanced efficiencies and consistency, as producers take on the responsibility for collecting and processing. Residents can expect the same, if not improved, recycling services without the bearing financial burden previously shouldered by municipalities.
Okay, any question?
Just a comment, if I could, your worship. So, well, thank you for good report. I'll reiterate again, exactly what you said, is this is driven by the province of Ontario, including how much recycling bins we were able to secure despite our best efforts to tell them how much we recycle in Bonfield, which is a hats off to the citizens of Bonfield that we're great recyclers. It took them learning the hard way, or us having to take it on the chin a bit. But my comment really is a thank you to the staff. I know we pivoted quickly and we produced a short note for those that were attending the landfill just to help explain what was happening, because it was a big shift in what they saw. So I just wanted to say thank you to the staff for producing that and helping to get the word out at the landfill. So
Thank you. I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead,
I have a question
Donna.
as well. How quickly did the bins get filled on Saturday?
So Wednesday, there's approximately 20 or 25 residents that came.
Mhm.
There wasn't much in there, but Saturday, the bins were full by about 1:32 p.m. When staff reached out. So we ended up just bagging all the excess recycling and piling it. And then I just fired off a quick report and scheduled a meeting with them to show them that, you know, we do need some more space, because I don't think it's fair. Our staff are the ones that have to clean that up
Yeah,
after
and
the fact, right?
absolutely.
So
And you were phoning them prior and telling them how much
Yeah.
we actually use and trying to get extra containers, and they
I
just weren't.
tried every outlet I could until finally I reached out to the environmental services. Actually, she reached out to me regarding our clear bag policy from North Bay. She forwarded off a contact from for GFL down in the Vaughan area. So that's who I got a hold of, and she's the one that said that they're hoping to bring a third bin as well as a 20-yard for
Because-
overflow.
Because I think what's happening, or what was happening, was, you know, people are just doing a way better job recycling, so they're not going to the landfill every week.
Mhm.
So recycling can kind of stick around your property a little bit without animals and smell and whatever. You're using a very small amount of garbage. My family goes once a month. We have one garbage bag, but my truck is full. So
Mhm.
when I go, my truck is full of recycling, and it's one garbage bag a month, because we put those processes in place. So I think people are just going less often, but when they do go, they're going to have a lot of recycling.
And I know it's frustrating for some of the residents, like we've heard some feedback regarding the way it's working and, you know, what they did with their recycling prior and that sort of stuff. But I just want to reiterate the fact that this is out of our control. We have no control whatsoever as a township. The province is taking it over, and we've got guidelines to follow. And if we don't, we've got fines to pay.
Okay, my question. I see staff are working with them now. As they progress and get settled in, will our staff still be working with the contractors?
For now, yes, yeah, our staff the recycling side of the landfill operations will continue to be done by our staff in-house. In the foreseeable future, I don't see it changing over. I don't believe GFL has enough, or the province is gonna cover that full cost as well, right, of the employees working the landfill. So, to answer your question, yeah, our staff will have to continue working there.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else got any more questions? Next we have the
Your worship,
Public Works Manager.
there's a motion to go with that report.
That's just what I.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna read it.
Sorry.
Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McGinnis. that council for the township of Bonneville receives this report and all information contained within it to stay informed regarding the updated provincially mandated recycling practices. All in favor? Carried. Okay, what do we have next? Adoption of, there's no minutes, eh?
Mm,
No. Next, we have items for council discussion. Nothing. Okay, resolutions considered for adoption. Municipality of East Ferris, standing for Canada. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that the council for the township of Bonneville supports the municipality of East Ferris call to action to the federal and provincial governments to stand for Canada, to buy Canadian and therefore remove any impediments to municipalities preferring to engage Canadian companies for products and services when appropriate and feasible, and encourages the provincial and federal governments to remove the trade barriers between provinces in support of Canadian businesses. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the motion of the town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that council for the township of Bonneville supports the town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, requesting that the provincial government to look at ways to implement balanced reforms that protect both small-scale landlords and tenants and ensuring fairness in the rental market. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have township of enough? Yeah. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the council for the township of Bonneville supports the township of Amaranth in encouraging all township residents to buy local and Canadian. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the township of Selwyn. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the council for the township of Bonneville supports the township of Selwyn in urging the federal and provincial governments to take all necessary actions to protect Ontario interest in trade negotiations with the US and investigate purchasing policies. All in favor? Carried. Now we have correspondence. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGinnis, that council receives the correspondence circulated with the agenda of April 8th, 2025. All in favor? Carried. No closed session for this session. Next, we have moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGinnis, that the council for the township of Bonneville hereby adopts bylaw 2025-20 to confirm the proceedings of council from March 25th, 2025 to April 8th, 2025 as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 8th day of April 2025. All in favor? Carried. And what time is that?
7:38, your worship.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's an early evening. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Featherstone, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:38 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Good night. Meeting is adjourned.
Love those.
Okay.